What's up, everybody? It's Kevin here from Happy Beard Games, and we are playing Final Fantasy XI once again. As you may have guessed from the title of this video, we are going to be checking out Cavernous Maws. And not only Cavernous Maws, but the actual starting mission from the expansion pack Wings of the Goddess, where you basically get the ability to use these Cavernous Maws to travel back in time and reach new areas of the game. So this mission is actually called Cavernous Maws, just simply that. Another requirement is you probably want to have been to the city Juno before, and you probably want to be at least level 30 or higher. Being level 30 or higher will at least get you to the expansion's quest, but it won't actually allow you to fight any of the monsters in the quest. So it'll probably just get you to the cutscene, but if you're level 65 or higher like I am, then you'll be able to actually fight monsters in the new area. Alright, so to start this quest, what I did first was I went to the city of Juno. And now you can go to any of the exiting areas from Juno. That'd be Battalia Downs, which is what I chose, Rolandberry Fields, which is another good one, and the Saromog Champaign. The Saromog Champaign one is a little bit more complex, and so I would recommend against that one. Now, I went to the location on the map, and I'll show you where that is. If you have the map for that area. If you don't, I recommend buying it because you can buy it in Juno. Checking the map, it'll show you a little icon, and that icon that I'm hovering over is where the Cavernous Maws is located. Now, if you check any other map that has a location that actually has a maw in it, it'll also be similarly marked on that map. So I got on my trusty tiger mount once again, and I traveled as fast as I could towards that Cavernous Maw on the map. Now, I also want to point out that I have never actually figured out what these Cavernous Maws were up until this point. For some reason, I always saw them and they creeped me out, but beside that, I never really figured out what they were for or what they did, so this is going to come as a surprise to me. They always looked really cool and they seemed like they'd be an important part of the game, but for some reason, I skipped over them until now. So after I reached the first Cavernous Maw in Battalia Downs, dismount your mount if you're on one. Now all you gotta do is just click on the Cavernous Maw to result in a cutscene. And it's a rather long cutscene, so get prepared to watch. I won't be narrating it this time, but if you want to see me narrate ones in the future, just let me know that in the comments, because I'm not sure if I can do it justice, but maybe I can. So I'll have you follow along with the text on the bottom of the screen, the subtitles, and there is no voice acting. So the Cavernous Maws remind me of the summon Atomos from Final Fantasy IX and other various Final Fantasy video games. Their design is that of a giant portal inside the mouth of a strange looking, almost alien looking monster. When you first see the Cavernous Maws, they're of course covered with leaves and they look almost natural. But then when you start the cutscene, you see it wake up. It actually looks pretty terrifying. And the next thing you know, your character is sucked inside the maw. Now as the cutscene continues, you're in a different area, which I'm not entirely sure where that is, but it's a different area. Sort of reminds me of the Twilight Realm in Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Now, sometimes in the past, this game has reminded me of the anime series Dot Hack, specifically Dot Hack Sign. which was actually an anime series that I watched way back in the day around the same time as Final Fantasy XI, and it's an anime series that is about MMORPGs. And some parts of this game, Final Fantasy XI, kind of remind me of it. And this part is actually reminding me a lot of it. Not only the traveling between worlds and stuff like that, but in this part there's a cat, and I've never seen this cat before, and it does remind me of one of the cat characters in the anime Dot Hack Sign. Although I think this might actually be Kate Sith, I'm not entirely sure on that. I mean, as far as I know, there is no correlation between the two characters or even their archetypes, but just having the cat there and thinking about Dot Hack Sign a little bit kind of reminded me of that. And it also kind of gave me that same feeling that I had when I played Final Fantasy XI way back in the day. So now the cutscene transitions to what looks like Battaglia Downs. However, you see people on chocobos, one red and one yellow, racing across the plains. The beginning of this cutscene reminds me of the intro cinematic for Final Fantasy Tactics on the PlayStation 1. So these are Royal Knights of San D'Oria, and they are looking for something specifically in Battaglia Downs. We soon find out that they come across the Cavernous Maw, the same one that you were transported inside of. Now, we also find out they have reports and they have seen other Cavernous Maws across Vana'diel, the world of Final Fantasy XI, on multiple continents, so that kind of gives the player an idea that there's more of these out there if you haven't seen them already. The knights that came in on the chocobos find your character. When your character wakes up, the knights that you just encountered tell you to go to the Edium Necropolis, which is a place you may have been earlier in Final Fantasy XI. I know I spent quite a long time there, not just leveling up, but doing quests there. And also it's full of undead, so that's a weird place to reference to. After that cutscene ends, you'll obtain the key item, Pure White Feather, which will allow you to transport between the Maw and back again. So by the way, what happened was we were transported into the past. So now we're back in time in an earlier age of Vana'diel. Now, you can transport from the past to the future and then back again, but I'm not entirely sure exactly how that works at this point. Once again, this is all completely new to me, and something that I haven't really explored fully. So now this part was really fun for me to explore. Not only is it Battaglia Downs, it's a different version of Battaglia Downs than what I'm used to, because I spent a lot of time here once again. And not only just Battaglia Downs, but you have the Edium Necropolis underneath it, which is also slightly different. Now these areas have different music, a different soundtrack. Even the battles have a different music, which is great for me to hear after hearing the same thing over and over for a while. You can tell that it's actually in the past, because in Battaglia Downs, what I'm used to normally, it's kind of run down and like has ruins. In this version, it seems like a lot of the ruins are still built and complete buildings out of stone and like ramparts and castle pieces. I did spend some time fighting some of the enemies, and there are a few new enemy types. They're mostly reskins, as far as I could tell, of enemies from the present day Battaglia Downs. And your map from Battaglia Downs present still works in Battaglia Downs past. I also really like the reskin of the tiger. It would be cool to have that as my tiger mount. There was a couple new enemy types, including a genie, which looked like a bomb kind of, but it was blue, and a pixie, which I've never really seen before, as far as I remember. Alright guys, that's about it for today's episode of Final Fantasy XI. We checked out the Cavernous Maws, and the starting mission that allows you to use these Cavernous Maws to travel between present day and the past. Feel free to like or share this video on various social media. If you'd like to leave a comment or a suggestion for a future Final Fantasy XI video, let me know that in the comment section below. Alright guys, that's it for today. This is Kevin from Happy Beard Games. Bye!